Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, November the 3rd, and my playing partner here, Mr. Andrew Hansen, and I are here to discuss a very good PGA tournament event, the Worldwide Technology Championship at Mayakoba at the beautiful El Camaleon Golf Club. So here we go, Andrew. I am coach, by the way, and I am really excited to discuss this week because we have a much better field. So how are you doing on this wonderful hump day Wednesday in preparation for the PGA event?
Doing pretty well. I'm recognizing sort of a theme here recently where these courses, we had Bermuda last week. Now we're in Mexico. They're down there in the warmth by beaches. Again, it's tough to be up here in the Northeast where it's already chilly. So kind of wishing I was down there on the course with them.
I'll tell you, it's torture looking at those gorgeous courses. I'm with you. And, you know, I mentioned it on the basketball pod this morning. It's cold here in Dallas. It's in the 40s and rainy. Hence, I've got the DFS Coach Talk, had to pull out the hoodie. So, yeah, I'm not too thrilled. But I guess it is November, so we have to be prepared for it to some extent.
Yeah, I guess these guys aren't going to need their rain gear, their weather gear this week, though.
Did you see the forecast? I looked all 4 days. Hardly any wind, low 80s. And I mean, and it's a gorgeous course, by the way. It's a Greg Norman design. So he has, he always has those twists and turns like some of the courses in Australia. You're going to get 5 or 6 holes that are just ocean view, ocean, everything. And then you get a couple of more dense, jungly looking holes. And, it really switches up. There's sand, there's water, but it's a course that there's not a tough rough. You can spray it a bit and you can score. I mean, it's going to take probably 20 under or better, like we've been talking about on these beautiful resort courses to win,
Yeah, it's sort of like distractions, all those things you're talking about visually, which are beautiful and nice variety. But in between those items, you've got just pretty short grass, and the rough is supposed to be under 2 inches. So like you said, you can spray it. You don't have to be long here, just over 7,000 yards.
Right.
So, distance off the tee is not a big factor. And with the par 71, you've got more par 4s than usual. So I looked at the par 4 scoring, greens in regulation, because like you said, you got to get to around 20 under to win this event. So you got to get tee to green, and then somebody's going to make a bunch of putts.
Yeah, and generally in these type of events, whoever gets really hot with the short stick, that is such a differentiator because, a lot of people are going to be in play. A lot of people are going to be putting for birdie, but you look at when they're playing these type of courses, and you can almost guarantee that whoever's on the top of that leaderboard is in the top 5 for the week in putting. I mean, it's just that simple. It's different than, the courses where you have to scramble and all the different, things that we come across during the season. But this is just, grip it, rip it, and make some putts. And it's fun. I mean, I enjoy watching these courses because they're just so beautiful and lush. And, I enjoy this time of the season when, we are getting a lot of people back, like you mentioned, with JT and Hovland and guys in this tournament. So it's going to be a competitive event, and I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. And, it's been entertaining the last couple of years. I also went over the last 3 years. I like to pull like the top 5 finishers, even if they're a T5, make sure to see everybody that's coming back. So I'll start out with that. And you can let me know if some of these guys, are initially in your vision to see if they're going to have a possibility of making your lineup. Also, real quickly, as we're jumping in here and getting started, please take a second on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, the subscribe button, give us a little comment or a question. That really helps us move up the algorithm. And then hit that little bell alarm button in the upper corner. That'll let you know every time one of our podcast posts, you'll get that alert. And we're doing 11 podcasts per week. We're a 7-day-a-week NBA. We got this PGA pod weekly, and we also have the football pods going out for all the different slates. Also, if you're a member, and you can become a member at dfscoachtalk.com, you'll get, along with this podcast today, you'll get our lineups tonight for the full tournament. You'll get a clipboard on DraftKings, full lineup on FanDuel and Yahoo. And then we also supply weekend-only lineups on Friday. It's a lot of times bailing out for me, but I'll take it. So, this is a cut event. So we need to, get back in that mode of who can get us the 4 rounds, because we all know, you don't always have to have the top 4 finishers, but you got to get those guys through to the cut. So let's talk about some of the guys that have been in that top 5, because I think that's significant. They walk on the course with all that confidence. First of all, last year's defending champ, Viktor Hovland. I mean, Hovland is one of the best up-and-coming players. Second choice on the board. We'll go over odds later, but you got to love him. Then here's some guys, and from last year, I just get a quick opinion from you on these guys. Wise, Hoagie, Long, Glover, and Horschel. Anybody jump out at you?
Well, Aaron Wise is interesting because he's really played well at this course, and he's been great lately. I mean, we're talking top 10s.
Yeah.
The problem on DraftKings, he's 9,600.
Yeah.
So he's priced up like a stud, and he's been playing like it, but that's a pretty steep price tag for him. So, I'm kind of on the fence there.
Okay.
Don't think he'll make the first lineup. And the rest of the group, nobody that I'm thrilled about. Okay. Hovland's interesting. There hasn't been a repeat winner here, so he's got that challenge ahead of him, which is not surprising when you get all these 20 under scores.
Sure.
But he kind of checks the boxes with some of the stats here. So I'm thinking about playing him. Not necessarily think he's going to win, but he's one of the pay-up guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's so talented, and if anybody can go back to back, it's him. I think what a great experience he had at the Ryder Cup, win, lose, or draw. He was able to just feel that, and a tournament like this is small potatoes compared to that kind of intensity. So I think he's a good pick. The guy I want to mention is Long, though, because he finished 4th last year and 2nd the year before.
Right.
So that's a guy, the bell goes off a bit. That's why I like to look at these finishes. He's not on our radar very often, but when you have a guy that's finished in the top 4 2 years in a row, he loves it. And again, we're trying to find decently priced guys that are going to get 4 rounds of golf in for us. So 2 years ago, it was Todd, Long, Ortiz, Taylor, and Damon. A couple other guys didn't make the trip for this one, but those 4 guys were in there, or 5 guys. Any instant reaction there?
Yeah, Ortiz is interesting to me. Local event for him here in Mexico.
Yeah.
And Long, I do like that course history. He hasn't played great lately. There's one other guy I think you might mention in the next group that I like even more for that variable.
I hope it's not old man Kuchar.
It's not. No, I don't like playing him. Yeah. This is one veteran that I don't like to play.
There you go. All right. So that 3 years back, it was Kuchar, Lee, Spawn, Werenski, Garnett, and Perez.
Danny Lee. There it is.
Disco
6,900 on DraftKings. Yeah. What I like about him is he's been playing better lately than Adam Long. 2nd last week in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Loves this course. He's had multiple strong finishes here. So he's one of probably my key value play this week.
And would you say 6,900?
Yep.
Yeah, he's on my boards. To be south of 7K with his experience and coming off last week, he's going to be fantastic. I think he's a fantastic play as well. I agree. Perez too. Perez isn't a bad play. Yeah. He's the kind of guy in these tournaments that are better, but they're not full field as far as the studs. He can sneak in there. I like his performances here.
Yeah, good price, and he won it in 16.
That's right.
So, yeah, he loves it here.
No doubt. All right, let's go to some of the wisdom of Mr. Andrew Hansen and check out what was it? The par 4
Par 4
scoring?
scoring, yeah. If you look at the last 3 winners, the tournaments you just went over, all of them were first or tied for first in par 4 scoring that week.
Wow.
And I looked at the stats from last year on the PGA Tour. Do you know who led the PGA Tour in par 4 scoring? Obviously, I'm going to mention him whenever I can. The ambidextrous Seamus Power was number 1
Wow.
on tour. And he's had 3 of his last 4 events, top 25. And can you imagine, Coach, playing a PGA Tour for an entire season and averaging under par on par 4s for the season? I mean, that is a ton of birdies on tough
That's
holes.
incredible. Yeah, that doesn't seem possible because you have one other in there, and then you got to catch up for a long time.
Exactly. And so not many guys are under par and just barely, but he's at the top of the list. He's a consideration for me as a mid-tier play.
Yeah.
And
What's his price?
7,700 on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's a little higher than I would have expected, but that's still really, I like him.
Yeah, he's trending up in price, and now he's racking up these top 25s.
Yep.
But the other guys who are the best on tour at par 4 scoring, Chris Kirk, Emiliano Grillo, who I like a lot this week. He'll come up here in the other stat I go through. And then Abraham Answer. He's 10-7, so he's a pay-up option.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him with the odds, but he's coming off a tie for 14th at the CJ Cup. He's done well here.
He's a threat for sure, a big threat. Yeah.
Multiple top 20s. Then we've got Doug Gim, a cheap option, 6,600. He's made 3 straight cuts. Justin Thomas, 11-2. Got to pay for him if you want his par 4 scoring. Russell Henley, 8,200.
Right.
2 straight top 25s for him. Cameron Tringali, 8,900. That's a lot more than we usually would have to spend for him.
Man, I remember paying 67 for him.
Yeah, exactly. High 6s, low 7s lately.
Yeah.
James Hahn, 6,400. Charles Howell III, and then Victor Hovland, and then your guy, Scotty Scheffler, snuck in the top 20 last year. And I just heard that he had a practice round recently where he shot a 58.
Yeah.
So he's coming in here probably feeling pretty good.
I'll tell you, and if he gets on a roll, I mean, he can shoot 25 under on this course and run away with it. But, again, the weather in Mexico too, there are some similarities to Texas as far as, the flat and there's no ocean side to it like this course has, but, there are some similarities of the climate, but again, there's no wind. So these guys are going to be able to fire at pins. It's going to get crazy. And he can, like you said, he's a guy that can go super low.
Yeah, you can get wind here, but sometimes it's just around 10 miles an hour. It's not, it's not like Texas.
No.
So the other stat I looked at, which is, somewhat overlapping, just greens in regulation. And again, in the last 3 years of this event, all of the winners have been top 10 in that stat. So, let's check out these ball strikers from last year. Emiliano Grillo tops on the list for the players in this field. Russell Knox is next, who's, solid week last week. And then here's Aaron Wise. There he is. No wonder he's played well here and playing well recently. Here's a guy that surprised me a little bit, Keegan Bradley. I didn't realize he was that high up the list, but he has had some struggles with the putting, and so that kind of explains why he hasn't had as many top finishes as he could have.
He's a GPP kind of guy for sure.
Definitely. And then a few more here. Kyle Stanley, who's a cheap option at 6,300. Doug Gim again, great ball striker. Speaking of Texans, Will Zalatoris.
Yeah.
And then Henley again on this list, and Martin Laird, 6,500. So, when you get into some of these ball striking stats, greens in regulation, you get some guys who aren't the biggest hitters. Right. But again, this is the perfect week for them. Not an overpowering course. Just be smart, be safe, get it on the green, and over time that will pay off.
I agree. No doubt about it. I think that this just an ideal setup this week for some really good play and some guys that still have the potential to go low, because when you're talking about nothing over 8 miles per hour on a course like this with no difficulty in the rough, it's going to be fun to watch, but they're going to tear it up, I think. Let's take a look at the odds, Andrew, and see what Vegas thinks, because that's always such a key element to it. See if we can find the tie-in that makes sense with the historic performances here, with the statistics that you shared, and people that Vegas are on as well. So Justin Thomas at 14-1, Victor Hovland at 18-1 are the two favorites. And then you have Tony Finau at 25, Tyrrell Hatton at 33. And then here's the guy getting all the early action. Would you believe that he was 33-1 and has dropped to 18-1? And you mentioned him, Abraham Answer. And I love that pick too, because I think he's one of those guys that can shoot 60, 61.
Yeah, I do too. Checks the boxes on the stats, the course history. He's playing well lately. He's gotten a win now, and he's right in that same price range as those other guys you mentioned, guys like Finau and Hatton. So, I think his ownership will be up a little bit more than usual, but it's not going to be, through the roof since he's got those guys right around him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be chalk, but I think he's an awesome play. Now, this next, I want to focus on these 5 guys, because when I was building some lineups early on, I had 2 of these 5 guys in my lineups that I was building. I think this is the meat and potatoes of the group, and they just all happen to be the same odds in Vegas, which is amazing. Well, I say that 30-1 for the first 4, 33-1 for the 5th guy. But I wanted your reaction to see if any of these guys have a good chance for your lineup. Billy Horschel at 30, Scotty Scheffler at 30, Brooks Koepka at 30, and then Aaron Wise at 33, and Patrick Reed at 33. What do you think?
That's a tough group right there to analyze. Koepka just continues to be somewhat non-interested in events that aren't the Ryder Cup or a major.
Seems that way. Yeah.
But of course he could turn it on and just destroy everybody.
I mean, he could shoot 59 with his eyes closed on a course like this.
He could. Absolutely could. And Reed, had that real nice Sunday finish last week to kind of get back in the groove.
Yeah.
Wise, is right there with the stats that we've talked about, the course history, but he's expensive.
Yeah.
And then Scheffler and Horschel, absolutely solid. Horschel, good course history here. That's a tough group. I mean, I don't have, I don't know if I'll even go there.
Really?
I may go, because if I go Answer, who's a little more expensive, then maybe I'll get there on FanDuel. I'm more likely to get one of those guys, but I may skip those guys on DraftKings. Do you have a feel that on 1 or 2 of those guys that you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Answer, but I like the vets in Horschel. I mean, this is just right in his wheelhouse. I think he can go low. I'm with you on Koepka. I get frustrated watching him, because you said it right on the nose. He looks disinterested half the time. And so I don't want a guy that's not grinding. Scheffler's probably my favorite guy on tour, and he can go low. So I like him. His price is not that bad considering. But I don't think Aaron Wise is getting any respect here for the way he's played here, the way he falls in those statistical analysis. And also Patrick Reed, that Sunday finish, if he carries that over at all, he's going to be right on that top page of the leaderboard. So like I say, this is the meat and potatoes group for me, with at least a couple of these guys. And it is totally different. I'll have maybe 3 of these guys on FanDuel and Yahoo, but the way the build goes from a salary standpoint, it's not going to be that easy on DraftKings. So you do that's why we provide that clipboard, and then the lineups for the other ones, the other two sites, is you have to get, you can't treat all sites the same because of the pricing. And this week specifically, to me, DraftKings are a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree completely. With the clipboard, what we do is we highlight the core and then give you options to fill out the lineup. And we don't just, mark off 3 or 4 of those guys that Coach just mentioned. We give a guy from each price range, so you have a balanced build, and you can afford the rest of your lineup.
Exactly. Unless I screwed up and take all my expensive guys, and then you have to tell me, hey. No, I try not to do that. But listen, I want to give you a couple last ones here, Andrew, because at 40 to 50 to 1, which is all these guys I'm going to mention, so they're between 40 and 50 to 1, I'm thinking of maybe throwing a few shekels on a couple of these guys, because I can't believe they're this long a price. So I'll go one by one. There's 4 of them. You mentioned him before, but Will Zalatoris, who's not played well recently, he's 40 to 1. And talent-wise, can't he just walk in and win this?
He could. He could. Yeah, don't love the recent form, but
no.
Could
why
do
it's
it.
40 to 1, right?
Exactly.
How about this one? I'd love your opinion on this one. Matthew Wolff, 50 to 1, and that is a guy that can shoot 59. We've seen it.
Yeah, and he can absolutely roll up the birdies in bunches.
Yep.
Great event last time out. And it's fun that he's back in the mix, because he is volatile. He's got great upside. I'm glad you mentioned him. I think we should consider him.
I mean, GPP for sure, but for taking a 50 to 1 shot on a winner,
yes,
for a guy that can, when he's on a roll, he's as good as anybody. But
yeah, I'd rather go 50 to 1 on him than 40 to 1 on Zalatoris.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. And then the last, I'll just go one more, because this is the other guy that I thought was surprising on his odds. He's been terrific at times. Matthew Fitzpatrick, also at 50 to 1.
Yeah, and he did win overseas. Yep.
That's right.
And, not a great finish last week. So middle of the pack. I don't think I would bet on him to win.
Okay.
But, again, he's playable for me. I don't remember seeing his name on the recent leaderboards at this event, so I'm not sure he has the course history here, but, he can really putt it. So if he has a decent ball striking week, he could be in the mix.
And even though he didn't play that great in Bermuda, I like the fact that he was over here getting that, getting used to the course, and then jets over to Mexico for this one. That's a guy I've got on my radar, just because I know talent-wise, again, if he puts it together and gets the flat stick going, which he can, I think he's a threat.
Yes, sir.
All right. I know everybody waits until the end of this podcast to find out this information, but do you want to share a couple of your nuggets that have brought us the big money here as value plays on this slate?
Well, yeah, just let's hit him again. Danny Lee. He was really gripping and ripping it last week. Real strong finish. And just love the course history, the price, and he will allow you to get one more of those studs up top that we've been talking about. So,
how about 125 to 1, brother?
Yeah.
That's worth a couple nickels.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe a top 10 or a top 20 bet.
Oh, you'll get great odds on that as well.
Yep. So he's the key guy.
Okay.
I've got one more 6K guy left. We'll save for the members.
Perfect.
Because I'm looking at him again and thinking, maybe I can get one more guy in there out of your meat and potatoes section of 5 there if I play him.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's more of a medium build type of scenario there. I mean, if you're going to play JT and Hovland or one or the other, or a Finau or somebody up top, I mean, then you do have to go value. But for me, it's unusual because, as we build these on here, I'm usually stars and scrubs somewhat, but I like the mid build this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deeper field, and you got those guys, 6, 7, 8 to 15, 18, 20 in the rankings, who are so solid, who can win it. So I don't blame you.
And generally, you know, in a situation like this where everything's about the cut, a lot of times when we go stars and scrubs, you're just praying those scrubs can get through to the weekend, where at least you feel you got a really fighting chance to get your mid-level guys at least to the weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. Excellent, my friend. I think that is it for this week. Anything else before we close it out?
No, jump in tonight, Wednesday here. We'll get the lineups usually around 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you jump in earlier, you can get coaches' basketball lineups tonight too.
Yeah, and I always recommend jumping in on Wednesdays when we do this podcast. I mentioned it because if you buy the 5-day pass for $19, you get all of our golf all weekend, this and the weekend only. You get all of Andrew, Crash, and Joe's football stuff because you get the Thursday night game, all the Sunday games. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you get all of that action. And then, that you're going to get basketball each day. So it's a good time to jump in. Try us out, dfscoachtalk.com. We'd love to have you. On the way out, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and give us a quick comment, we would appreciate that on the exit. So let's hit them straight and long and make some putts for these guys and enjoy watching that super warm 80-degree beautiful weather down there. And I'm telling you, Andrew, one of these days we need to go on a live on the course setup for one of these events. We're going to do it someday. I know it.
Yep. That'd be fun.
Play a little practice round afterwards. All right. Thank you for joining us today, everyone. We hope that this helps you build those lineups and you take some big stuff down. And we'll definitely be back again next week for our PGA Weekly Wednesday show. So for now, signing off for Andrew Hansen, the rest of our DFS Coach Talk team, I am Coach. We'll catch you again next week when we look to crush it in PGA DFS.